camera. You give it to me. Give it off. Give it off. Down. Give it.
I think I'm recording now. Hopefully you can actually hear me. Man, my voice sounds really awkward right now. I've been sick for the last week or so, which is why I'm drinking this tea here to help my throat. Probably not a good idea for me to be talking again for an hour like I did today at the podcast. But it's time for another Ramblin Rorie episode. It's probably still too hot to drink. Getting close. It's Monday, October 24th. It's around 11:55 p.m. though, so it'll tick over here pretty quick to the 25th. Probably the day you'll wind up watching this. And here we are. Again to do another episode of Ramblin Rorie. I don't even know if that's what we're gonna call it this time. It's hot over here, so my hand is hot. The other hand, so that's what I'll do. Wave my face. Anyways, it's time for another episode of whatever this is that we do, that I record. Let me just get some tea for my throat real quick. That's really effing hot. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna let that sit a little bit. I'm not a big tea person, but I do love tea when I have a sore throat. It really does help soothe this instrument. I've been sick for about a week now. I started coming down with something around last Wednesday, I think. I biked into work. Pardon me. Biked into work, and I started feeling pretty bad right away after that. So took Thursday off from work. Trying to see how many more cough drops I have. I think I have a few more. I'll get some more if I need to tomorrow. So it's been a rough week, I suppose. Slept a lot this weekend. Anyway, on to the questions. How about that? Final DOS that says, do you have an older video game that you revisit every now and then just for memory's sake? I'm going to sit back so you guys don't have to look right directly into my face this entire time. Hopefully you can hear me, though. I should probably turn off that fan over there. Let me turn off the fan real quick so I don't have to deal with Joey telling me that the audio is off tomorrow. I'll be right back. All right. Older video games I don't really go back to too often. I'm not a huge retro gaming fan like a lot of people seem to be nowadays. Graphically, I suppose I'm a bit of a snob, so I don't really go back into older games too often. That is all far back as I think I could really possibly go and actually finish a game would probably be Dreamcast era or PlayStation 2 era. Beyond that, there's so many games coming out now that I could probably play over something that came out 10 years ago. I don't really see a huge amount of need to go too far back. So no, not really. I did try to go back and play XCOM not too long ago. And Deus Ex as well. Both those games I tried to go back and play, and just graphically things have moved so far beyond what was acceptable back then. There are some cool mods for Deus Ex and XCOM both that upgrade the graphics a bit, but no. Sorry. I again, there's so much good shit coming out now. It's hard to justify going back and spending 20, 30 hours on something that came out in 2000. I even something else like Baldur's Gate 2 I tried to play again, or Planescape Torment I tried with a resolution mod, and it's just, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm a graphics snob at all, but I do like to have pleasing visuals. Pleasing visuals, shall we say. I love all the games that I used to play, but I don't go back and play them very often anymore. Plus, I have an SSD now as my main boot drive on my computer, so space is limited for video games. Tepid Shark wants to know, are you going to do an end-of-the-year awards deliberation podcast like Giant Bomb does? I don't know. We might have some kind of discussion that we record, but generally, last year we did it where all of our... Just trying to stay farther back. I'm all weirdly lit up, too, because I put my light over here. And normally I like to have this whole thing kind of vaguely lit for my eyes when I work. Last year we didn't really have a deliberation. We didn't have like a screened best movie of the year award or anything like that. We just kind of came up with our own lists and rolled those out over the course of the week of the end of the year. I kind of like it better. I mean, it's the problem with running a website with two people is that Alex and I don't see a lot of the same films. He was really good last year about making an effort to see every movie that was nominated for Best Picture Oscar, but I didn't really have the time to do that. But even for like the little things throughout the year, like we almost always see two different movies every weekend, and whether or not we go back to see them pick up what we missed on DVD or not is an open question. So that makes things difficult. I think it'd be more likely that we'll have a couple of lists of everybody who contributes to the site, just kind of giving their best of the year. But we might record something. I would like to. I would love to do more recording and do more live stuff on the site. It's just tough to do when I'm the only person in the office who's actually working on screen. Complaining Rory. That's what I can. Oh man. Hopefully I don't sound really cool. It's always I've always one time I was working in a bookstore and I had a sore throat and this lady came in and was like I had to apologize for my voice. I was like a sexy growl. Like, oh, okay, right. I'm always worried that I think anybody who speaks a lot probably worries that they sound better when they have a sore throat than they do when they normal speaking voice. Get that inner world, get that bass coming out of it. So I don't even know. I don't have a time. So I have 6 minutes. I've answered 2 questions. That bodes poorly for 42 more questions. I might speed these up a little bit because I still have like 2 more things I have to write before I go to bed, and it's already midnight. Why do the interns help you make more features for screen? See if Ethan will lend you a couple. They're getting fairly good at finding their voice on camera, whatever that means. That's from Mento. I don't know about interns. I like them all. Seem like all good people. They seem like a really fun job. They just kind of sit up there in their own little office and do web videos and walkthroughs and stuff like that. But I think they all kind of seem game focused right now. Giant Bomb has 6 writers, and I think they obviously need the support staff of 4 or 5 more interns on top of that to keep them running. I'm not trying to be snarky. That probably came across as pretty snarky, though. I love Giant Bomb. I think it's great that the interns there are doing their own thing, and I think what really helps them, I think, is do kind of the Kessler stuff, where he is doing a lot of the walkthrough videos and boss fights and Dark Souls and stuff like that. That kind of stuff, if it's really well done and professionally produced, really does have a good impact on YouTube, which I would know because I did used to write game guides. Right now, I don't think there's a huge amount of editorial content that interns could help us with, video-wise. Like we need to think up more video content that we can do. That's easy to do. It's not always easy to come up with that stuff. I'm holding this here. Earl Grey, hot. Exactly what this is. And it wasn't until I started drinking a little Earl Grey from Trader Joe's that how ridiculous Jean-Luc Picard's order is. Because you would never, I don't know anybody who would ever order tea medium or cold. Especially not Earl Grey. Like iced tea, I don't know. But Earl Grey hot, kind of redundant. Just get Earl Grey tea. So interns are great. Interns help us. We have Dan editing our podcast now. That's a really big help. So interns, I think, are more just kind of finding ways they can support labor people, labormen, lay people, labormen. I don't know the words that I'm looking for. They can help do tasks that I do not care to do. I'm being really mean about interns right now, but I was an intern. We've all been interns at some point in our lives. So, Rockin' Kimosabi wants to know thoughts on Grim Fandango. I've been a long time since I played Grim Fandango. I like the writing, obviously, but I have not played it in a long time. I've never been a big adventure game person. So maybe my thoughts on that game are a little bit lower than, not even lower, just different than other people who seem to have a ridiculously high esteem for that game. Well written, obviously, but gameplay wise, it wasn't my cup of tea. Unfortunately, I never played a lot. I never got crazy into the full throttle and the Sam & Max kind of stuff. I was never a big adventure gamer. Much more preferred to have a gun and shoot people when I play video games. Speaking of the devil, Pat VB, I'm going to start playing Alpha Protocol as soon as I finish Deus Ex. Again, this is like probably 2 weeks after you answer this question, so I'm sorry if I've already finished Alpha Protocol. Do you have a recommendation as to the best way to spec my character? Should I spread my points across all skills, or should I min-max myself? And what skills do you recommend? Pistols really are the key to that game. I found when I played it a bunch when I was testing it. I haven't played it since it launched. I think I actually have it on Steam. But I would recommend pistols highly. Pistols and assault rifles is what I almost always played with. Pistols for precision and assault rifles for more hardcore enemies. So you can't go wrong there. Stealth, pretty good. Martial arts, if you really want to vary things up a little bit, especially in terms of stealth, you can really kick some ass on people. But definitely, if you're going to shoot people, pistols and assault rifles. That's what I would recommend. I know a lot of people had problems with boss fights when they couldn't quite line up shots with a shotgun on Marburg and stuff like that. So, pistol, awesome upgraded ability with the reticule thing and everything like that. So I highly recommend pistols and assault rifles. It's my recommendation. Then again, I play that game shooting everybody that I came across, so can totally go through it stealth if you like. That is a little bit tougher, but we did a pretty good job of giving you experience commensurate to the challenge, I think. Tea is so good. I might have to make some more of this by the time I'm done, because I'm on like 5 questions in. Gigolo81, have you ever considered doing commentary track as premium content, kind of like the screening room, but in MP3 format? Dave actually brought this up with the new way that we can do podcasts as premium members only content. We do have the ability to go in and do special stuff like that. And Dave really was Dave did bring up Dave Snyder did bring up the idea of doing commentary tracks on movies, which I would love to see. I think it'd be really fun for me and him to sit down and do that kind of stuff. It's a matter of finding the time for it. Finding the time for it and picking a movie that we both want to watch. I think we could obviously do one on Kicking and Screaming, since we both like that movie a lot. He'd probably want to do one on The Stuntman or The Man Who Fell to Earth or something in that vein. I think we could definitely find a time to sit down and talk through a movie. We'll see. No immediate plans to do it, but I think we should probably sit down and do it at some point. Would be fun. Hopefully you guys enjoy us talking about movies that much. I do always appreciate the fact that people seem to enjoy our content to the point where they would sit down and watch a movie with us talking over it. That is ridiculously complimentary. I can barely tell today. That Kyle Katarn, favorite costume you have ever put on Halloween conventions, dungeon basement. Gosh, I haven't done Halloween in a long time. I haven't been Halloween. As a professional drinker, I'm not a big Halloween person. I prefer to kind of let the amateurs do their thing on Halloween, and then resume my normal activities the day after, the week after that party scene is over. So I haven't done a Halloween costume in a while. That is a really good question. I'm not a big costume person, to be honest with you. Wow, costumes. Yeah, no, I don't think I've dressed up in a costume in a long time. Maybe, gosh, I'm going to have to pass on this question because I don't actually remember the last time I dressed up as anything. Yeah, I honestly don't think I've dressed up in a long time. Sorry, I'm pretty boring when it comes to Halloween. I always want to do something elaborate and special for Halloween, but I never quite. October rolls around, I'm really busy, and then I get invited to this stuff, but I don't have a costume, so I don't go. So, story of my life. Samfo, 2 questions. Who is your favorite Simpsons character? Wow. That's a toughie. That's a really big open world kind of genre there, Simpsons character. I think picking any of the main family would be kind of louche. So I'll have to find somebody more obscure. Hmm. Wow. I've always liked Smithers for some reason. I'm not sure why. Um, he started out as kind of a gay parody, I think, which is kind of uncomfortable now, but he grew into his own over time. Um, I speak of the devil. Speak of Halloween. I haven't watched The Simpsons regularly in probably over a decade. So it might be a little tough for me to latch on to minuscule characters off the top of my head. I do like whoever the Mendoza guy is. Mendoza! The Arnold Schwarzenegger stand-in. He's always fun. Probably the actor that Phil Hartman played, the Troy McClure. I'd have to say Troy McClure. One of the best. You could tell they are always trying to one-up themselves with you might know me from films such as Teen Explosion or whatever. The competition between the writing crew on that character's past exploits were probably pretty funny. Troy McClure. Although I do have a funny story about tying these last two questions together about Halloween and costumes and Simpsons. So one time, me and my friends were at a bar here in San Francisco called the Comic Club, and I don't think any of us were in costumes. We were just kind of there to make fun of people and gawk. So we go outside for a breath of fresh air around 12:30 or 1 in the morning, and there's a guy dressed as Duffman, the whole belt and everything, the Duffman belt, beer belt, cape, everything. Asian kid dressed up as Duffman, up against the side of the building, puking his guts out, just. Bleh, bleh. His friends, he had to be dragged off by his friends on their shoulders. Just the drunkest duff man you'll ever see in your life. And I felt that was, I don't know if that was irony per se, but an alcoholic mascot being super drunk. I thought that was pretty funny. So, what is the best Pixar movie? Wow. I think The Incredibles might be the easy answer for people like me who just, it's action-oriented and human characters. I think I don't know. I would probably still would say The Incredibles. I really like The Incredibles a lot. Yeah, I'm going through this tea at a rapid clip. I never was a big fan of Ratatouille. Like some people I know were. Like Wally a lot. Up. The classics. I mean, there's only been like 8, right? 8, 9, something like that. So not a huge selection. It's not like picking your favorite Kurosawa movie or something like that. But I would have to go with The Incredibles. It's framed in a weird way. What is the best Pixar movie? That is a objective statement that I do not have an answer to. I like The Incredibles a lot. If I had to pick one. That or Toy Story 2, probably. Dill Baloo, what music are you currently listening to? Furthermore, do you find yourself listening to certain tracks or just music in general while you write articles? I do not listen to a lot of music while I write anything. Even instrumental music, I have a hard time. I prefer silence. Definitely prefer silence, which is why I work from home a lot, because noisy office. I like to have control over my environment while I write. I'm pretty easily distractible, so I don't really listen to a lot of music while I write. In terms of music I have been listening to, let me pop open iTunes here. I've been listening to the new Feist album a fair amount. Not as big a fan of it as some of her earlier stuff. The Drive soundtrack has been getting some play. The Claypex dubstep free thing they put out has been pretty great. And other stuff. Nothing that I think is a recent release. I'm trying to think what else I bought recently that I wasn't super enthused by. I bought the new Mates Estate album. I wasn't enthralled by it. I'm a little miffed that they're not coming to San Francisco too on their tour. But I guess people are too big for where they come from now. I'm joking. I like them. Apart from that, I'm going back through Stars. I don't know if you've ever heard Stars, the band Stars. I think they're French Canadian or something like that, but they're quite good. Gemma Hayes is a British kind of folk indie artist I really like a lot. Is on here as well. But mostly the Feist album. I'm probably getting sued for this. Anyways, I don't want to get sued for that, so I will not play it anymore. Get an email on my phone. I really like the video features, which include community input. Do you think you will be doing more of those? I will definitely try to. I've been meaning to try and do another if you like with community input. It's just a matter of planning those video features ahead. And I'm not really good at planning ahead things very much nowadays. Which is why so many of the video features now are unrelated to the theme week, because I'm really poor at planning ahead. But we did sit down today and get the theme weeks for the rest of the year planned out, so hopefully they'll help me plan ahead for that kind of stuff. Sometimes DVDs, though, especially, are not easy to know what's coming out well ahead in advance. But I definitely would like to do more video features with community input. So hopefully we will be able to do that. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. I don't know. Better. So hopefully more video features with community input. I'm trying to find my perfect angle. I have such a round face. I hate it. Mr. Maz, when do you like to see movies? For me, if it's an event film, it's opening day at the minimum, if not midnight. If it's something a bit more Oscar-y, I'll go the day after or middle of the week, so there are only old people there since they won't bug me. One of the things I have grown to dislike about this job is having to go at midnight at Thursday for everything. It is a nightmare to get sleep on Friday morning. And our reviews are obviously not up until the day of, which is kind of a silly thing that have to happen for a movie website. We're going to try and get into screenings here in SF, but if I choose to go to a movie, if I have a choice, I would almost always go like Monday at noon or Monday at 1 o'clock, whenever I can get the least amount of people in the theater. So comedy's great. I'll go on a Saturday afternoon whenever can I actually get the seat that I want and sit down and not have to deal with too many people. But for most movies, I would way prefer to have my own theater, my own private theater, basically. And normally that in San Francisco, that's impossible to find. You're very rarely going to be in your own theater or be in a theater by yourself, but because there's so many people. But generally, I do prefer to have as few people in the theater as possible. So almost never Friday or Saturday night by choice. Never, ever. Nope. No. Sorry, I don't like I don't like cop out at all, but I do like that bit. And now that my voice is going down, maybe I can do a little what's his face? Tea. I'm gonna put some more water to boil real quick so I can get some more tea in here. I'll be right back. Ta-da! Covering Liquid Sword says, covering huge events like Comic-Con E3 can be a grueling task. How do you prepare for such events? Any essentials that are needed to keep your sanity intact? And can you share some horror stories of convention past? Generally, you need to have a lot of caffeine. Huge amounts of, like, basically just caffeine injected into your arms. If I could fly with cocaine, I would bring it with me to conventions, because that is really what you need. That or meth or something like that, because you need to have, I mean, Comic-Con this year, I basically got 4 hours sleep for about 3 nights straight. Something like that. And the video people when we used to work for GameSpot, Vinny and the rest of the crews would do way more. And they have different jobs, obviously. They do more video processing and editing and stuff like that. But they would get 2 hours sleep for most of it. So it's a marathon, really, a marathon of consciousness. And I'm sorry if I am doing a lot of this stuff, but I'm pretty I'm rocking the wall tussin now and the mucus relief. I'm sharing too much. So a lot of caffeine. For Comic-Con especially, you have to be sitting in Hall H for basically 8 hours, 10 hours a day. You can't leave because you have to go to the back of the line if you want to leave and come back in. Bathrooms are a nightmare. I try to pack in my backpack while I'm walking around Beef jerky is really handy. Just sticks of beef jerky that you can get at 7-Eleven. That stuff is really good protein-wise. You don't have to avoid food as much as possible. You don't have to poop in the middle of the day, if at all possible in a convention. Just avoid bowel movements entirely until you're in your hotel room. So go for protein, especially as it metabolizes pretty well. It gets absorbed. It doesn't turn to waste. That's why NASA actually, factoid, NASA, the morning meal when astronauts go up in the space shuttle is steak and eggs, because they're going to be sitting there in that space shuttle for like 8 hours before it actually launches. They can't poop, so they give them steak and eggs, which the body absorbs pretty easily. So that is why beef jerky. If you have time to get more sleep, feel free to do that. I would highly recommend that. But as a journalist covering these things, you almost never do. And I've never even been one of those people who goes out and parties at night. Like I know a lot of people who go to E3, I went to the Sony party last night. I went to the whatever party. No, I was just sitting there writing all night usually, and I still got 4 hours sleep. So, tenacity, stamina. I don't really have any horror stories of conventions. I never really have had bad times. I've always had a pretty good time at conventions, but getting around TGS the couple times I went on the days that it's open to the public is a nightmare. Like, you can't move at all. Those are basically cleanup days because they have a business day and a public day. And if you go on public day to try to do any work, you're basically fucked. So that is a nightmare. Getting in and out of getting to the Tokyo Game Show from Tokyo is actually like a half-hour trip on subways. You're going through different subways and trying to navigate it all. It's ridiculously complicated, but so just transport at TGS was always a kind of a horror story. But apart from that, not too much. Not too many bad things. I'm going to go ahead and put a cough drop in because my throat is hurting. Halls now apparently has motivational sayings on their wrappers now. Be resilient. Elicit a few wows today. Dust off and get up. Keep your chin up. Conquer today. A pep talk and every something it's cut off. I don't get it. Like cough drops, I mean, these are for people who are fucking sick and have sore throats. I don't feel like dusting off and getting up. Like going to bed. Seize the day. Impress yourself today. Buckle down and push forth. What the hell? This is bullshit, man. Nothing you can't handle. Okay. You can handle. I'm a cough drop. I just got 8. Angel Gamer, I saw that you have a tattoo on your arm. What is it of and why did you pick that exactly? I'll show you. Assuming I can actually get this in front of the camera. Might be kind of tough. Yeah, you can kind of see it, I guess. You probably have to turn around. I don't know. I can't do it from this angle. I can't. Hell, if you really want to take a look. That is Euler's identity. A math equation. A nice math equation. A very beautiful math equation. Turn this down here. Okay, autofocus. Good. I'm not going to go into why I got it. That's kind of a personal story, unfortunately. Can't really explain too much about it. It's a long personal story, but basically I think it is one of the most beautiful things in the world, in the universe. And if somebody came to Earth from Alpha Centauri, they would know what Euler's had. They would know what math is more than they would know anything that we would give a shit about. And thus, I think math is pretty important in the cosmic scheme of things. My water's boiling, so I'm going to go get the water, and I'll be right back. Sorry to bug you to discuss the Mongolian invasions of Japan in the 13th century. I'll be right back. Oh, just pour that water out. Alrighty then. Oh, I've got some green tea this time. This is probably a lot of caffeine to have at midnight, but whatever. Like I said, I still have some stuff I got to do tonight before I go to bed. Oh, I'm going to let that soak for a bit. If you were to take a vacation, where do you want to go? Says Esh-chan. I've never been a big traveler. I'm a boring person. I've never been a big traveler. I do not like traveling. I don't like flying super much. I take a Walden-esque view of traveling. I think you can go a lot of places without leaving your apartment if you read a good book. Cliffs of Dover, shall we say. I would love to go to parts of England, nicer parts of England, if I had to pick somewhere to go. But more than anything, on vacation, like spending $1,000 on a week of traveling, I think that's a waste of money for the most part. I don't like to spend money on airplane flights. Not very efficient. I guess I have good memories if we're with people you care about, but travel. I mean, it's places. You're not going to. Always going to be you, wherever you go. No matter where you go, there you are. In the words of a wise man. So I'm not a big traveler. Never really have been. And it's weird because you've seen my post about the OkCupid thing. So many girls seem to be like, I want to travel. I want to travel a lot. I've always been like, travel, okay, great. If I could afford it, if I was rich, sure, I'd go all over the world. But man of limited means, I do not particularly care for crazy ass travel, especially with air flights being what they are. Christina wants to know, if you had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be? I would have to say probably grilled cheese. I love me some grilled cheese. I love making it. I love eating it. I love grilling it, eating it, putting it in my mouth. Grilled cheese. I love grilled cheese. Grilled cheese is the top of the pyramid of the food chain chart. I love grilled cheese. Not gonna lie, I do. So I'd probably have to say grilled cheese for that matter. Pickle says, how stringent is Whiskey Media about timer levels? When do you usually get to work? When do you usually leave? Is it enforced? It's not enforced at all. Oh, gosh, that feels so good. Wait, let me see if we can hear this. Oh, my back. That felt so good. I'm pretty good at cracking my knuckles. I'll stop now because I know it'll probably bug some of you. If I actually go into work, I would probably usually try to arrive around 10 or 10:30. Usually leave around 4 or 5. During the week, I usually wind up going home and working until 1 or 2, though. So it's not like I'm stopping work at 5. But lately, I've been working from home Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday because I have a much better computer here. I can do everything I need here. I don't have to work with anybody in the office. So I go in Monday for the podcast and Wednesday for shooting videos, and then the rest of the week I just work from home. It's awesome. I love it. I love working from home. I totally dig it. And I can work more without having to commute. I usually work 12 to 14 hours a day, I would say, on the days that I work from home. Maybe not Thursday and Friday. Usually those are a little bit shorter. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are usually about 12 to 14 hours. And then, 10 Thursday, a little less on Friday. I usually take off on Friday a little bit earlier than I would because I've been up until 3 in the morning. So no, they're pretty mellow about getting into work and getting out of work as long as you're doing your job. And I think it's pretty obvious that I'm doing my job. Big Heart 711 wants to know, what was the origin of Screen's eye icon? Does he, she have a name? You have to ask Dave Snyder for that. I did not come up with that. Well, I can illustrate. This is what he's talking about here. That little guy, I think. I'm going to give you guys my phone number by accident. So the screened icon, get it? No, I don't think that was a name. I think it was just something Dave kind of larked on, and we're stuck with it now. Thanks, Dave. But you would have to aim enemy kite or Twitter enemy kite to find the answer to that question. I think he just kind of came up with it and refined it a little bit, and it works. It's pretty good. I like it. Tiny Grenade, favorite dessert and why? I don't. Nowadays I'm kind of over desserts. I don't really dig desserts a huge amount. I don't order dessert when I'm in a restaurant usually because I stocked up on entree and have eaten my fill by the time I got around to dessert. I'm trying to eat healthier nowadays to some extent. So I'm not a big dessert guy. If I do go to dessert, I go to Mel's Drive-In. If I'm in the mood for crazy ass food, I go to Mel's Drive-In and go for the banana split there. It's like 1,800 calories of chocolate and strawberry and bananas and ice cream. It's so good, so good. One time I had a Groupon for Mel's, and I went there and I got a side of mashed potatoes, a vanilla milkshake, and a banana split. I felt fantastic afterwards. I was basically moving along the ceiling here because I was so high, sugar high. So yeah, but I'm not a big dessert guy. Never really been big on sweets, or I used to be, I guess. But nowadays it's although Mel's, what's the name of it? There's a Tex-Mex place around here. I forget the name of it, but they have like great fried ice cream, which is fantastic. So. Waffles wants to know, if you had the opportunity to write a movie, which of the two would you choose? A movie that makes people laugh every time they watch it, or a movie that makes people think deeply every time they watch it? I would have to say probably the think deeply, because I think those movies last longer. I don't think comedy is as relevant 30 years after a movie comes out as the ideas of a well-made movie. So I would have to go for the think deeply, because I'm like that. Recite poetry and shit. Oh, I skipped one here, unfortunately. Carl Pilkington, I know this is a question, is a bit biased. Considering my username, but have you ever watched any of Idiot Broad or The Ricky Gervais Show? No, I have not. Easy question to answer. No, I have not. British comedy, I know people love it. If I'm watching BBC shows, it's usually stuff like Luthor. Love to call it Luthor. Love saying it like that. Luthor or other crime drama shows. That's what I generally prefer from the BBC. So, unfortunately, I'm not. It's a blind spot in my education. Wow, a lot more questions than I thought there would be here. But I'm gonna try and get through this. What are your 3 favorite Steven Spielberg movies? This is a fun one to revisit from time to time because it can change based on your mood. I'm going to look them up on our website right now and try to figure out the answer to that question. What is the answer to that question? Let's see now. I'm going to pick the top 3 that I think of. Definitely, you know what? I'm going to go with Last Crusade over Raiders of the Lost Ark. Just on a lark. I remember the experience of watching Last Crusade more than I remember the experience of watching Raiders for the first time. So I'm going to start with that one. I like Last Crusade a lot. I'm not even going to apologize for that yet. Let's see now. I would say Close Encounters of the Third Kind is a great movie. And Minority Report. I'll go and say Minority Report. How about that? Oh, it burns so good. Cold part of my throat. Ooh, that tastes so good. So yeah, I'll say Minority Report, Last Crusade, and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I could go into those, but that'd be a little bit laborious. Plenty of options there, of course. Plenty of options. Saving Private Ryan's up there. Catch Me If You Can's great. I really like War of the Worlds. I know some people think that movie is... I've seen some people savage that movie critically, but I still enjoy that movie quite a bit as a populist bit of entertainment. Surprising he hasn't directed a movie since 2008. I guess he's been busy with Transformers. But it looks like he's going to have like 18 movies coming out in the next couple of years. So, indeed. Let me go back here. All right. That was from Spencer Bolts, by the way. Anthony says, what is your favorite miniseries besides Band of Brothers? The Pacific, obviously. Gosh, miniseries. I would have to think about this one a little bit. I know there's some that I've really enjoyed a lot. some back in the day, some sci-fi stuff that I remember. Stephen King's had a lot of decent miniseries on TV. Miniseries haven't really been a popular thing lately on network TV. They've kind of faded away. Favorite miniseries? Wow. I have no good answer to that question. I'm sorry. I'm all of a sudden very low here on the screen. I apologize about that, but that is something I would need to think about. And I don't read these questions ahead of time, obviously, when I record these videos. So I unfortunately do not have a good answer to that. The Peacekeeper Wars, at the end of the Farscape series, maybe that was a decent little two-parter. Although the Farscape show got pretty bad after season 3. All right, Teabag. Ask that again in the next Rory thing, and I'll try to answer you a better question. My life for ire. Have you ever thought of moving to a place where you have canine companionship or canid companionship? Sure. If I had more money to spend and I had somebody I wanted to move in with, I would definitely want to move somewhere where I can get a dog. But for the moment, I love living by myself. I enjoy it quite a bit. I love having the quiet of this beautiful space here. Have you heard anything? Have you heard any rap music coming from upstairs? No. You never do, because it is a very quiet apartment, and I like it. And I value quiet over a lot of things when it comes to living arrangements. I pay probably way too much for this, but it is quiet, so I don't mind. But yeah, so if I ever meet somebody who I really feel would be a good roommate and wants to own a dog or has a dog, probably, I'd jump all over them. And their dog, probably the dog first. I'll probably jump all over the dog first. But that's, I don't know. I'm pretty happy here. I pay a lot for this apartment, but it's well worth the quiet to me, because I like things quiet. Do you hear that? You don't hear any of the precogs doing their thing because they're not proper. Sparky Buzzsaw, favorite Chewbacca line? I like the part where he recited Ovid's letters to something. I don't know. Chewbacca. Chewbacca's great. I'm pissed off they killed him off, but then that's why I don't pay attention to the extended universe, or whatever they call it. Let me finish chewing up this. It's got triple soothing action. And it's very cool. DVD House. What fictional universe would you like explored more, whether it's a movie, TV show, or video game? Mine would be the Alien universe and an RPG-like game. Go figure. I happen to know of a company that was making one of those a few years back. I don't think I can say anything about the Aliens RPG, but I don't know. Some not my place to either. I wasn't involved with that game at all. But if I had to pick a fictional universe that I would like to be explored more, obviously Star Wars is straight out, Star Trek is straight out, because those have both been explored way too much probably already. Fictional universe I would like to see explored more. Lord of the Rings is obviously out. They've had MMOs and everything based on that. You know what I really like? I like the Rama books by Arthur C. Clarke. I could see something based on those. They were talking about doing a Rama movie for a long time with Morgan Freeman, but I don't think that ever happened. You should look it up. Rendezvous with Rama movie. Just gotta remember how to spell rendezvous. Morgan Freeman wanted to produce a movie based on it. David Fincher was apparently attached to it. I guess finding a script for that movie is really difficult, obviously, because that movie, the book doesn't really have a huge amount going on. It's just, let's explore this thing. So that's one thing I would like to see more of Rendezvous with Rama. But then again, the whole point of that book series is that it's is the mystery and the unknowing things about it. So sometimes you can know too much about something. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the amount of knowledge I have about the fictional universes in my life, I suppose. that makes any sense. Murdokin. So it looks like various companies are trying to acquire the rights to make a biopic about Steve Jobs based on his biography. Who would you want to direct and play Jobs? I think after The Social Network, many people would like to see Fincher do it. I don't really care about Steve Jobs. I'm sorry. Not to get personal, but whatever. The guy was a CEO. He's a billionaire. He had a great life. Got cancer and he died. It sucks, but I don't know. Maybe I'm not gonna even joke about that. I don't. Biopic of Steve Jobs is not something I would pay to see. Don't care. Not a guy I care about. Sorry. Harsh opinions, I suppose. Brilliant in his own way. A great CEO. But not a person I am going to lay down money to see the life story of. Because, there are plenty of other people I would love to see life stories of, biopics of before Steve Jobs. So, sorry. I'm not trying to be controversial. I'm just one of those people I don't quite get, I suppose, the fandom around him. Cato, do you think The Simpsons will last past its 25th season? Sorry if this has already been posted. I think in between when you ask that question and when I am doing this thing, they've already announced that they're going to do 2 more seasons, which I think would take them up to 26. I'm on record as saying they should probably just cancel it and start doing movies from now on. I would love to see more Simpsons movies because I thought the first Simpsons movie was really great. And the TV show apparently is not so great, according to everybody that I know of who watches it, which is basically you people. You people. Nobody seems to think it's all that great anymore. Still doing well for what they're paying for it, apparently, so they're going to keep making it, but I would love to see them make another movie or 2. They can't be that expensive to make, and they make a lot of money. Hire me, Fox. I will make this happen. Righteous86 has a question. What are your ultimate goals from Screen, and what do you hope will set it apart from the vast amounts of competition on the web? How do you think a smaller movie-based site can get the connections and interviews available to the biggest movie sites on the net? I guess I don't want us to compete with other movie websites, really. We're trying to do new things for the last couple of weeks and going forward where we're not going to post every single little tiny news article that pops up on the web. I know you guys know, everybody knows that there are 100 other movie websites out there that can do news reports and recycle news from Deadline and post, the latest news articles. So we're trying harder to do more analysis and more commentary and more editorial focused features and articles, things that kind of play upon what's going on in the news, what's going on in theaters, and try to spin that out into, longer form articles that are hopefully more interesting to read, have more ideas to them, have more arguments to them, have more things that you can comment on and talk about, which is something that not a lot of sites do at the moment, which I don't think. And obviously video is a big part of what we do that a lot of other sites don't. Tea. That's good. I switched from Earl Grey to green tea, which I'm pretty happy about. Yeah, I'm better now. So the ultimate goal of Screen, I think, is to make a movie website that's not like anything else on the internet. We already have the wiki, which is great. You guys are making that great. We have some good feature writers as well. Features are not something a lot of movie websites do. And I think it's about establishing an identity for yourself as something that someplace where people can come to get stuff they can't get at other movie websites. Anybody can go to learn about this guy who's directing this movie that's going to be out in 2015. I don't want us to be that website because I don't think a lot of the news that comes out is very super interesting. We'll still report on the big stuff, obviously. Any big news, you're going to be able to come and talk about it here. Smaller news we'll probably put up on the forums or tweet it. But we'll save the homepage stuff for features and editorials and commentary and analysis. Ooh, wow. That tasted really good. That is my goal. And I'm working really hard for us to get there. You might see a little bit less content go up. Hopefully higher quality content overall. But basically, I want to make sure that everything that goes up on the homepage is something unique and original and has a thought to it, has some ideas behind it, besides just being a 3-paragraph news story. I might have to stop in a bit because my throat's really hurting. But I'll try to go a little bit further on. If you had the opportunity to write or direct another installment in any film franchise or a sequel, prequel to any film, which would you choose? I would love to. I'm actually writing a story about this right now. I'd love to see another Blair Witch movie. I would love to see another Blair Witch movie. And I don't think I'd be there. I have no goals toward writing or directing films at all at any point in my life. I do not want to do that. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably do that one because I really like the Blair Witch Project, and I think it deserves a second chance. John Chipotle says, let me see, there's not that many more questions. I might try to go through pretty quick. Which bad, sexy thriller drama would you rather watch first? Cruel Intentions or Wild Things? On the same note, which of these were the least deserving of the sequels they got? I'd probably go for Wild Things over Cruel Intentions. I'm not a big fan of the actors involved in Cruel Intentions. Don't like Ryan Philippe. Don't like Sarah Michelle Gellar all that much. Don't really care for. Is it Reese Witherspoon was in that? I think so. Yeah. Cruel Intentions. So I'd have to probably go for Wild Things over that. Yes, I suppose so. I don't really have fondness for either of those two franchises by any means. I'm not a big fan of the erotic thrillers so much. But Wild Things did at least have Kevin Bacon naked, so a little thick cut bacon there. Lucid Quasar says, I think the Netflix integration is one of the best and most unique things Screen has implemented. Can you give us an idea when we can expect it to be running properly again, and do you guys plan on expanding it some more? I wish I knew. I don't follow very much with the programming side of things. I don't really know much about that, their ECAs and what they have, who they have assigned to what. I have a feeling it's probably a pretty small priority for them. I don't mean to... That's because there is only so many people that they have to work on this kind of stuff. If you want to know more about that, I would ask Dave Snyder or Andy McCurdy if you see them online, or send them a PM or something like that. Fortunately, I don't. Excuse me. I don't know much about that. I'm sorry. I would like to see it come back too, but it's a matter of how big a Screened is versus how big other sites are, and I don't know. I stay out of that kind of stuff, really. Sorry. Lick, L-I-K, wants to know, what was the top 5 worst movies you've ever seen? I do not know if I can come up with a list of that like that off the top of my head. I know Ballistic Exorcist Ever was up there. I turned that off within like 10 minutes just because of how ludicrously incompetent the entire thing was. Grown Ups is probably on there. But apart from that, before I started working here, I didn't really watch a lot of bad movies. I never been a big guy who hey, here's a campy movie I'm going to watch because it's bad. I've never been that guy to really pay much attention to bad movies. So if the bad movie is bad, I usually just turn it off. So yeah, I don't think I really have too many other bad horrible movies that I have in my memory because I just don't. Never been one to sit through something that I don't enjoy. I can't ironically unenjoy stuff. I have to just enjoy it or not enjoy it. And if I don't enjoy it, I'll just turn it off. Arc 209. This always seems to be a hard question to answer, but do you remember what the first movie you watched was? At home, in theaters, with friends. I think at home, I don't remember at home, unfortunately. I think in theaters it might have been Willow, but that seems really late because I was like 7. So it's probably something more like Neverending Story. Check the date on that. 1984, so that would make sense, about 5. I probably went to see Return of the Jedi in theaters, although I don't remember it. But at home, no, I really don't remember watching anything at home. We had a VHS and a CED drive and everything like that, so. No, I'm sorry. I'm 32. I don't really remember the old days that well. I'm sorry. I'm failing a lot of these questions, and they're all about me, so that's really a bad thing to fail. Monster 99.99. Where do you see the movie industry in 20 years? Relatively the same or radically different? I think it'll probably be pretty different. I would assume. It's hard to tell whether or not theaters should still be. Man, this tea is really hot. I'm gonna take off my shirt. If I was a prognosticator, I wish I could tell you exactly where the theater is going to be in the 20 years. Unfortunately, I don't really know too much about it. I have a feeling it'll be a pretty big shift towards home distribution of films. But the thing about it is, if you're going to spend $200 million on movies, you're going to have to have the prestige of a theater release, which is really important. So I don't know. It's really tough to tell. I think about it a lot, what the future holds for movies and TV and everything like that, but it is really difficult to know. 20 years? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. I have a feeling everybody is going to have some kind of crazy-ass, awesome home theater set up in 20 years. So compete with that, theaters are going to have to do more and more over-the-top stuff. And I don't see how that race can be won by theaters. But there's still something to be said about the communal experience of watching a movie in theaters that can't be replicated anywhere else. But it'll be curious to see what happens, I suppose. Brad Gren wants to know, what's the way you pronounce palatable? Palatable? Well, whatever. We all have pronunciations of things, and palatable. I like saying it that way. I don't know. People keep on sending me nasty things about that, but I like saying it palatable. 5 out of 5. Because of your fancy science book learning, I was wondering which film you think is more scientifically unsound, Jurassic Park or The Core. There is no doubt that The Core is more scientifically unsound than Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park is kind of silly at times. It does, reach for some things. I'm hacking Unix. I know how to do this. I can do this. But The Core is unworkable. The Core is not a movie that could be made. Not a movie that could be real. Unfortunately. Magic hackers, unobtainium, coming up with a ship that can go through the Earth's core in like a year. Impossible. The Core is right up there with... I think The Core might be one of the most scientifically unsound movies to ever be set on the planet Earth. So... pretty dumb, but it's great. It's a great B movie. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love The Core. It's so dumb. Stanley Tucci's great. Aaron Eckhart's totally playing off the rails. Hilary Swank doesn't even know that she's in a bad movie. That is a great bad movie. I like it a lot. I think it's intentionally a great bad movie. So I totally did that movie quite a bit. Delroy Lindo, everything about that movie is great. Miss Glett. Miss Lett. I'm a sucker for indie theaters. I work for one in Hollywood, Cinefamily. And after moving up to San Francisco, I haven't really found a suitable replacement for my love of limited run movies and unique programming. What are your thoughts on the indie movie theater scene in San Francisco? P.S. Yes, I do love the Rocky Theater. It's up there in the faves. Unfortunately, the Roxy Theater just shut down, so I think. Is that the one that shut down? No, that's still open. Okay, good. I don't, unfortunately, indie theaters, most of the time when I cover stuff for screen, I'm going to the big theaters. A lot of the other theaters here are owned by Landmark, so those are all kind of similar programming, all modern day stuff. If you go up pretty far in the Richmond, there is the Balboa, which is pretty good. They do have some pretty good programming over there every once in a while. I did have a really good time there a couple years ago at a Santa Maria Film Festival, which was when I saw Sword of Doom and all these other great movies. So if you travel around a little bit, you will find some good theaters. But you probably have to stay away from the Landmark ones because they do normally show the modern day stuff. But the Balboa Theater, I'd recommend. That's way far out there, though, on Balboa. The Roxy, obviously, you know about. I'm getting tired. I'm getting tie-tie. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Sorry, my throat is really hurting now. Probably shouldn't talk all this much, but I'll wrap it up pretty soon. So I would recommend you look up the Balboa Theater and go to their website, and also the Castro. Obviously, the Castro has a great program too. Hey, Asama, did you find anything redeeming in the Uwe Boll movie Postal? Should I put that movie as a guilty pleasure with good reason? I never saw it. The only thing I know about Postal is the animated GIF with all the kids getting shot while Steven Seagal is the one pulling the trigger from around the corner, which is a great thing. If that's the that's all there is. That's what it is. But I haven't seen Postal. I'm sorry. Kobe wants to know where's the screen to mobile site. As far as I know, it's at mobile.screen.com. Or am.screen.com, one of those two. It definitely works for me. If you cannot find it, send me a PM and I'll try to look it up for you, but I know it's there if you are a premium member. Headwound2323, very pleasant. I was wondering if you and Alex have thought about having Tom Pitchuk on the podcast. I really enjoy his articles on Screened. I think his unique viewpoints would bring a lot to the podcast. Right now, the podcast is tough enough getting Alex Skyped in. Without having to deal with another person Skyping. It's a bit of a pain to edit audio together. Oh, wow, that felt good. Edit audio together from one Skype stream as opposed to two. It takes twice as much time. And Tom lives in LA, so it's a little bit of distance. But I'd love to have more guests on the podcast, but we do it Monday morning, so it's not always easy to get people in from around the office. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, I suppose. Masabo says, do you find as tablets and similar products get much more popular, the need to have a huge television set will fade away? I have a 50-inch HDTV, but most of the time I just end up watching stuff on Netflix from my iPad due to the ability to watch stuff in bed. Last I checked, you can watch TV in bed as well. If you have a 50-inch HDTV, you can watch that in bed. You lie in bed and you put the TV at the foot of your bed and watch TV from your bed. That sounds really dismissive, but I obviously I have a bed here with a TV here, so I don't have much. I mean, sometimes I'll watch TV on my Netflix on my Android, my phone before I go to bed, just because I'm lying in bed, and it's if I can't go to sleep, I'll just flip on an episode of Breaking Bad or something like that. But no, I desire the need to have remote controls and chapter selections and everything like that. I don't find tablet watching to be all that amusing. I don't own a tablet, but I think television sets are only going to get bigger. In my opinion, I think eventually we'll wind up in the Total Recall realm where all our walls will be television screens. And I think that's what people get used to. I don't see the appeal of going smaller for movie watching. In my opinion, this is my opinion. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm not a prognosticator. I try not to ever prognosticate. It's me gargling. Dr. Pockets, is there any property, video game, book, whatever, that has not been made into a film that you consider either impossible to accurately adapt or B, would just be a giant mistake to do so? Sure. Sure. Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace is right here somewhere. I might have showed you guys this book last time I was on screen too. Man, that page looks really weird. That page looks really weird. This book is about 1,100 pages long. It's about a tennis pro and a halfway house manager and a videotape that causes people to become zombies, basically. I would say impossible to accurately adapt and would be a giant mistake to do so in the case of Infinite Jest. Some novels are all about the writing and not the plots, and that is definitely one of them. Anna Karenina, I don't never thought that that novel needed to be a movie, but it's made into a bunch of movies. That novel's not at all about the novel's about the plot, but the writing is so much more important than that. I don't see a lot of point to some adaptations when the writing is good enough that the writing is the art form that is being achieved. No need to make it into a movie. Because the movie is just the plot for the most part, unless you're doing voiceover and stuff like that, which is really terrible. Normally. Oh, almost over. Almost done. I'm burping a lot, and my throat's really sore. Wiki2. Toops, but I'm assuming that's a French pronunciation, so Wiki2. Honestly, Wiki2. You're on a deserted island. You can only bring one thing. Do you bring Emma Stone or puppies? I'd have to bring Emma Stone. There's no real denying that. I need someone to talk to. And yeah, that'd be really weird for Emma Stone, though. She'd probably be pretty freaked out by that, by being me and her. But I have to bring Emma Stone. I have to say Emma Stone. If I'm stranded on a deserted island. Stranded on a deserted island. I'm sorry, I'll try to enunciate a little bit better. It is late, and miles to go before I sleep. Anyways, around 1 o'clock in the morning. It's been a good hour of me answering questions. But I think I'm probably going to wrap this up and let my voice soothe a little bit. Maybe get some more hauls in me. Do some more wall tussing. That is all I have to say for now. I hope you appreciate it. I hope you... Don't know. God only knows why you guys want to sit and watch me talk for an hour. But hopefully you do enjoy it. And hopefully I've been legible this entire time. Hopefully you guys have actually been able to hear me. I think it'd be really awkward if I record this whole thing and can't actually hear anything I'm saying. Let me know. Let me know. Joey will take a look at this stuff before it goes up, so hopefully there will not be any problems. Mumbly. I apologize if I mumbled a lot, because I just have a sore throat and I can't talk very well. Anyways, I'm going to hit the end button now, and this will be Roy's Ramblin'. Have a good night, and I'll see you again soon, here in a couple weeks probably.